Alright, so this presentation is on Francis Cabot Lowell, who is one of the forerunners for the development of American industry. He was born during the independence movement around 1793, and he was accepted into Harvard at age 14, so he was a very smart guy. He was kind of sick. As a child, he would get sick a lot. He was pretty frail, but he was very strong in mathematics. His inspiration was the British textile mills because his father sent him to England when he was sick. So one of the times he was sick, he went to England, and using his father's connections, he got into the British textile mills, and he realized that his future was going to be in the cotton industry. And so when he came back to America, he decided to develop his own power mills like the British. So my thesis is that Francis Cabot Lowell had a major influence on the early 19th century United States because he was the first person to develop and industrialize a large factory in the United States. His work is still relevant today because he was not only the first to industrialize, but by proving to his shareholders the benefit of this process, he also started the industrialization of America. So he developed the first power mill. And he hired an engineer, and together using his math skills and his friend's engineering skills, they were able to create a power mill. And he came with this idea of shareholders. So he had a bunch of people donate money to him, and they came up with something around $500,000, which back then was a lot of money. And so using that money, he built a large mill with a dam, and then he was able to power the mills with water power, and he had thousands of machines in this large brick mill. So the industrialization, people started working at his mill, and he was able to produce cloth at an unheard of rate. So they hired more workers, and they just pumped out cloth. Like there was, they created about the machine was able to create cloth about 50 times faster than a person, and there was hundreds of the machines. So you can just see how much cloth they were creating. So because there was so much industry and so much money in this, they built industrial cities around it for housing all the workers. And then finally the shareholders, the initial investors who put in money to help him make the mill and stuff, they started getting really wealthy, and because there was so much cloth and so much money in his business, they got paid a lot. And Cabot died at age 42, so he was rather young. It was only 3 years after he had finished building his mill, but the shareholders got his company after he died, and they just developed it and continued industry, and to the legacy that is known today, where there's an entire town named after Lowell. That's my